Okay, welcome back. Hopefully this will be the last instalment. We've got the vase and the flowers pretty much in. I'm just going to, we've got the biggest flower. The background and the little flowers, I guess, is just their little details. So I'm just going to put these lilies in. Now the lily stalks are sort of, they're half out, half in, you know. These ones are starting to show a little bit of colour. And then these ones are really quite green. So we'll not give them too much merit just yet because they're not doing anything. So we'll just sort of loosely put them in. There is a bit of the baby's breath up the back that I do want to hint at, because that's one of the sort of these little tiny little sprigs here. But you can go in and kind of just do your own adaptation of those. I feel like, you know, you can, there's no real strict rule with, I like to take the bouquet off the page. I think that adds to the the beauty of the painting if it goes off the page, because you're not told the whole story. You're just sort of assuming that, you know, that one's gone off to South Africa out that way. So alrighty, so, and I think maybe to just join those dots, I'm just going to find a really light grey, because there's little tiny sprigs that sort of, or little tiny stems that hold all that baby's breath. So I'm just trying to portray that with the least amount of information, but enough information to tell you that that is a little bit of, you know, floral beauty going on in there. So just a few little, I think we can just, you know, fudge that a little bit. You can please yourself what you see there on those ones. So I can see a really lovely dark stripe down the side of that lily, and I want to capture that. Feel like that grey needs to be, it's even a little bit of darker purple on the top there. We'll try and capture that and bring that green around, I feel. That green's got a little bit more of a point on there. So we'll just try and get the feel of the lily. And then down the middle of the lily, I'm going to do something white down there, but then I will finish it off with that lovely purpley grey kind of feel to give it the division that flower will come out at some point. So enough information that the rose sort of goes out and off that way. Get your greens and your blues and just put a little bit of the foliage in here and there. Remembering that when you do stuff like this, we need to be dragging it down, and every now and again just putting a little bit in to the vase, that it doesn't get lost not being in the vase, but it's also got to be in the vase, not behind, not in front of the vase, if you know what I mean. So not too much information out there, just sort of, what have we got? It looks like a little bit of a stock going on out there. So what I might do is give this a nice darker green, bring that through and down, and we'll work with that stock. So I'm going to pull out the darker purples, well, they're kind of a grey purple, I guess, and we'll make a thicker flower. I'm looking at the flowers, and the stock is kind of mixed up amongst all the baby's breath, so we'll just give it a little bit of a voice there, and then I'll go in with these darker to give this a just let me have a look and see the stock flowers sort of come down into there. They kind of head out there. We'll make some little stalks out there, not too much information, but again, you just pop in how you see it. So I'm going to have a look for some of the Art Spectrum. I might even go into a little bit more of the greeny. Now that I've looked at those pastels in my hand, I think I want to go, let me have a look. I'm going to bring these up so they are little bunches of flowers, so they do look a little bit different to the baby breath. So maybe we just do a couple of a little edge there. That's a better green, I think. We'll add it to those darks, which I think will add to that. But then we can bring in the lovely bright whites, but put some grey greens under it, beside it, around it, you know, sort of vary the little buds that you can see along there, because then I think we should hit them with a super white schminky. Now, I do have a little tiny piece I've been working with, which I absolutely am loving. It's only tiny, so it may just probably finish this painting and then it'll be done. But it's got some lovely edges on it. It's got some, so we'll just do a little bit of a hint that there's some stock growing in there. And again, not too much information, just a spot here and a spot there. We'll put a couple of spots down here because the baby breath is sort of hanging around there. And we can work on them. You can see how we're building those colours. So using your greens, then put a little bit of purple in because it gives a bit of shadow to that. Putting that over the blue looks quite nice too. And just drag that green up a little bit. Yep. So we'll go with that. I'm okay with that little bit there. I would like to get a bit more of a leaf in here. A bit more of that green. Maybe that's too dark, but it's a nice dark to sit on top and then go over it with a darker green. But the lovely green shines through. Yep, that's better. So we'll, out the back there, I want to just do some wispy little, just get your pastel, roll it around a bit, do some wispy little baby breath, something or others there, and then you can pop a few little spots here and there, which sort of, sometimes less is more though. So it looks like I need to get a little bit more of this background in where I'm going over it. So I think we might head off to the lighter sort of colours. I want to go the lighter purple, sort of purpley brown. I've got green on my hands, so that kind of helps bring in those colours as well. This is really what I hate. I really don't like bringing the background into flowers I've done. I like to paint my flowers on top of the background, so that's not desirable for me at all. But what I suppose the reason I've done that is because I am going to go in with a dark in behind here and build up a bit of foliage behind, because those lovely green little button chrysanthemums are sitting in there. So we need to leave a little bit of the background showing, pop a little bit of the foliage in. It sort of frames the rose a bit, so it brings the rose forward and pushes the others back. But this is where you need to vary your two darks, 2 or 3 darks. I'm really loving these grey greeny sort of, these are the two Gordon Beacon. So they are quite dark and quite dark green too. So I just would like to not lose this patch in here, because I want a really bright, those really bright green buttons just in here. But there's a yellowy green that I want to put as a contrast. And because I made the mistake of putting the green too far in, I don't want to lose the brightness of these colours. So yeah, there we go, look at that. And if you just go over that a little bit over the darker green, it really contrasts nicely. And I might, just because I can, I might just hit that with a little bright just there, just so your eyes searching for that colour. So my eyes going, oh yeah, that's everywhere, I like that. So we'll just see how we go. I like that green in there, maybe a little touch of that just on the corner there too. So I think We won't go too much higher, but I'm feeling like I need that darker green. Let me have a look. It's yeah, the Gordon one might be okay because I'm going to try and build. I want a few, they're sort of up at this height, aren't they? So I want a few sitting in a bunch together. So at the moment I'm just making marks. I'm not, you know, we're sort of just placing things where we need to. It's important also to make sure you do keep the background showing through a little to give it the spatial sort of feel, so that we're not losing that it is sitting against a background, if you know what I mean. I'm not very, no, that's a green, that's a yellow green, and I don't want the yellow green. I want the lovely bluey sort of greens. Just, yeah, that's lovely, look at that. So we'll just vary those shades a little. It's all the same green. Now this is a piece of, I'll tell you what this is. This is a full stick of Sennelier, and it is really lovely, but as soon as you take it out of the paper, it crumbles to billio. So it's really not optimal. It's this is why I buy the half. I usually stick only with the half sticks of the Sennelier because they are so fragile in the full stick. In the half stick they don't seem so bad, but I don't know what it is. But let's try and bring some of those stems down just so we don't lose the stem feel that they, because they are a very tall flower. So, but I want the green, but I want the blue, but then there's a lovely dark green. Just looking at the flower, it makes it a bit easier for me because I've got the flowers completely in front of me. So it's easy for me to see the detail, but if you work off the reference photo, I will try and take some really lovely close-ups for you, so you've got these sort of details where the stems are heading. This is where down here we need to pop them down, and you don't have to go all the way, but you've got to give it some sort of hint that at some point there's a dark down in here, because even though you're not consciously looking for it, I think your brain goes looking for it. Not consciously, but it does do it. Now I want to put these, there's some little side where the light's catching these little ones, but I want the pastel to give me what I need. At the moment the pastel's not giving me what I need, and I need to get a bit bossier with the pastel to give it a... I love the random strokes that the pastels give you. See, I'm really liking that. I think that's nice. The only thing I can see is that it, to my eye, and I don't know why, but to my eye it needs a bit of purple. Just on one side, just to give it a little bit of depth. Now, I can't see purple in that at all, but I guess that's where it comes, I don't know, whether it... I guess it is instinctive, because it's something that I never ever thought that I could teach, because I don't really know what I'm looking for. But I guess I can tell you when I'm looking for it, if you know what I mean. So I'm happy to tell you, yes, I believe that I do need a bit of purple in there, but I can't actually tell you why I need the purple. It's just my eye is searching for a little bit of purple just on the edge there. Okay, so we're just going to give it a little bit of a buzz just around there. And it doesn't have to be on all of them, just every now and again. Now I'd like to do just a little bright stroke in there to show that there is a couple of buttons sitting up behind. So, because these do come down into here as well. So there will be a couple down in here. I'm just sort of going to go a little bit willy-nilly and pop in some areas of where, because I don't think I don't feel like this needs to be part 3 or 4 or 5. I feel like we can do this You can tell me anyway. You might be sick of flowers and whatnot. Now, somebody has asked me whether I could show... I'm just going to put a dark edge on that. I feel like that needs a bit of a dark edge there. Somebody has asked me to show them peonies or peonies or however you pronounce it. And I would love to do that. I've done some peonies. If you like, I can show you the peonies. I don't know if you've seen them. There's some more stock sitting up here, so I'm just going to capture those lovely... I'm going to give this one a lot more structure than what we gave these ones, so that if we tell the viewer here that these are stock, then over there it's assumed that they're stock, if you understand. Now, yeah, the peonies, I have done a couple of paintings of peonies, and I just love them. This summer just gone, because we're in the dead of winter at the moment. It's supposed to snow here tonight. So painting peonies would be an absolute joy. But I was given some by a patient, and so I have a few photos of peonies. But I was thinking, if you guys want to put up some photos of if you have some peonies in your garden, or if you have a certain reference photo that you'd like me to paint, or that you'd like to paint along with, and we can all have a go, whatever. I'm happy to do that too. What I might do is, once I've posted the end of this painting, now I'm just going to freehand a little bit of the stock there. But you can see how this is sort of coming together. I hope I'm not in your way. I haven't been conscious of that at all. Now, these are the extra soft Art Spectrum, so they are crumbly. And I'm sure you guys probably don't destroy pastels like I do. You're probably a lot more careful than I am. But that is just the most ridiculous looking flower head there. Way too... I'm trying to keep back, so normally I'd be hanging onto the board and putting my back into it, but I'm trying hard not to do that. Let me have a look, and I'm just going to see, because I feel like I need to get the structure of these correct, so I'm just taking my time and just looking over at the bunch of flowers that I have over there, and I really love this green. I think this is a piece of the Gordon Becken, but it feels so nice. Actually, I must ask you guys too, I've ordered some Jackson hand-rolled pastels, and I'm waiting for them to come. I was going to get another set of the Gordons, but I asked, there's been a bit of a delay, and I kind of got a little bit impatient, so I've decided that I'm going to try these. Actually, I really like how it's got a little black there, but there's one little stem. I may be able to incorporate it here. It's quite a dark, and it's just the green, just the dark. That's quite nice, isn't it? I think that's okay. Yeah, so I'm going to try them. So I'm looking forward to them. They should arrive at the surgery sometime this week, so we'll do a little trial run. Now, I'm up the creek a little bit here because I haven't put any background in, and I need to come down with these strokes of... I'm going to have to hold this board so I can get some lovely random strokes in here to show that these hollyhocks fill out down the bottom. So I'll use a few varying... This is an Art Spectrum, but it's sort of a warmer white, not the darker white, not the super bright light. So I think that's sort of going to fill in that little gap there, and then I'll come around with a little bit more foliage, and this is where we're going to introduce this pink. Now it looks like an alstroemeria, but it will just be colours, I think, for us, because it is right at the back of the... It is right at the back of the, I'll just check the time. Oh yeah, still got a bit of time. So this is where I want to start heading into the greys. So I've chosen a few greys out of my packet, out of my, drawers. And this is where I want to start introducing the eucalyptusy sort of greys coming down into here. So let me just find where I am with those little green ones, because I think these are some sort of, I feel like there's some sort of chrysanthemum maybe. If anyone knows exactly what they are, feel free to let me know. So there's not enough variation. See that there? I've stuffed that. There's not enough variation in the colours, so I need to get something really dark in here. And that's certainly not it. So I might even go the dark blue in here, because the green against that blue will really give that, it'll really pop that one little flower there. And there's a couple more down in here, but we'll just go over there. I'm really loving this dark in here. It's very mysterious, and we'll come in with a fair bit of dark around here. And even up in here. Let's have a look. But we'll go, like, these will be our darkest darks in here. And then we'll head off to the light where the greys will really start shining. So, what do you reckon? That's sort of coming together, isn't it? Like a big bunch. We need not to lose these edges. And let me have a look and see what else we need. We need a nice super dark one along there, because I want to put a really bright white edge that's not white. Little wiggle. Okay, so I want to put a nice light white edge there. Just, it doesn't need to be very big, but we'll just see how we go. So I've got that in. I need a few little darks in here just to give them edges. I think what I'm going to have to do is keep going. So because we're still taping, normally I would go and wash my hand now, because I've been dealing with the dark, so my hand is disgustingly green. But because I want to put the background in, but I don't want to stop taping, I'm just going to pop a glove on, and we'll keep going with that background colour, and we'll put in some random little darks where we want, because we've used this lovely colour behind here, so we'll keep going with that, but then we'll come in over with the whites and the purples, and this is where I really do want something lovely and warm to sit those greys against. Okay, so a lot of this in here will be filled up with the colour. The greys, I think we need to get, let me just test that, yep. We need to get that grey up in here, start getting those shadows in the sides, and I may even just very bravely put in a few darks over here to give us a bit of a shadow idea of, oh, sorry, I've done all that without you looking. What a menace. Okay, so hopefully that's in the right spot. And you can see I haven't done too much really. I've just gone with these darks down in here. I need to keep that edge very white. So just go back in there. We may change it again, but it's good always to keep your lights if you need them. It's easier to keep them than try and go find them. So now I think I'm going to put No, that's way too green. In fact, that green I think would look nice up the back as a little bit of green leaves. So let's just pretend there's some little bits of leaf and whatnot in there. As you can see, there's it's smoke and mirrors. I am quite a lazy painter. I don't like painting leaves. I don't like painting detail. It's just splish splash and off we go. I tried painting, I must say, I did try painting in my defence. I tried painting detail once and I found it, for me, it was just so tedious. I was just like, oh my goodness, I really would rather chew my own fingernail off than paint detail. But that's just how I deal with art. I think I'm too impatient to do. I appreciate people who can do it because it's something that I just don't have the aptitude for. All right, so I think we need to get a little bit more information going on out there. It's all a little bit too blocky. We need to carve some of that out. That looks quite okay. So let's go in and maybe even put these beautiful ghost, I don't even know what they're called. They're eucalyptus, I know that, but they are so pretty. And I just want to get some of those colours. I'm going to have to change my glove because I've gone in with the darks again, not thinking. I've only got a couple of minutes more to show you, but I'll endeavour to do what I can and show you just putting a little bit of the, I don't think that hurts at all. It's just way too pink, that one, so I'm going to go with that purple again. Putting a little bit of the dark in and then blending it is giving us the shadow of, because it's against quite a white wall. I think doing that gives us a shadow that we can work against, so that it's giving us a bit of a gift in so much as that it looks like that we're, so I'll just show you. It's easy for me to show you than explain it. So it's working against a wall, but we can go one or two like this, and then the blue shadow behind it looks like the shadow hitting the wall. So I don't think it hurts to sort of have a little bit of dark in the background, if you know what I mean. So over this side there is a beautiful piece of stock. I don't want to miss that. So you can't really see it in the photo. So I will take yeah, I really like this piece of stock hanging out this way. So I might even take it right off the painting, but I want to hint and give the viewer a lovely look. And what I'll do while I've got this plain bit without any dark on it is introduce some nice, like a little bunch, and then we'll take it right off. So we'll lessen it up here, but a little bit of green amongst that, and that will give you the view. I'll just run the green through it and just show you what I mean. But I'm just looking at how that comes, but just running that through and down into there. It'll be covered up by lots of other stuff, but it gives us a nice view of where we're going with that. Okay, these little green flowers are really intriguing. I really want to hit that one with a super, you know that nice, it's almost a lemon, oh, I don't know if that's it. I'll try this one. This is a Gordon. I'm just going to try, yeah, look at that. See how that's another tone of darker than the one that was there. And then just every now and again I'm going to hit one with a yellow to give it a little voice. So, And this is probably where I need to go, very dark, with a dark green that's going to bring that a little bit of detail up there to say that it's, yep. And then maybe, you know, that deep purple again, and that will lead us down to where these are all hanging. Okay. And then I've got this little bunch, the alstroemeria up the back, which I might just do while I have you. I'm just going to change my glove again. This is stretching on to 30 minutes, so I will pull it up in a couple of minutes just to show you. But I think you've got a fair idea of where we're going with this one. So we'll put a little bit of the lighter leaves, you know, they're the eucalyptus, and we will go back with a, you know, the lovely greens and the greys in that. Now the pink, let me just have a look. I need a very light, I might even go back to my Gordon box and find a lovely light pink, because I just want a hint of pink up the back. See that very, very light baby pink? And if you know alstroemeria, they're almost see-through, and they've just got super light little edges. So I need to find a nice white. But what I've done, really, I'll show you the three that I'm using. So it's the Gordon Beacon, it's a white extra soft, like a warm extra soft, and then I'm going to hit it with a Schminky, the white Schminky. So let me just have a look. And then I think what I might do, just to give it a little bit of oomph, we'll use one of the pinks in there, and just give it a very, very, very light touch, a very light edge, just to show that there's something up the back there. And I think that pink, going over that, I think the pink will complement the greys that we're heading off into too. I think they will complement them nicely. So we'll just do a few little strokes up the back. We don't need to tell them everything. And just a few little green. If you have a look, the alstroemeria, they sort of, let me just show you. They come down, they're like a little bit of a tube. So we'll just join one or two together, and we'll give them a little bit of a story there. They probably, you won't see where they're attaching in here because there's so much in front of it, but we'll do another couple of little buttons down in here. Okay, so this is part 3. What I might do is, because I'm really all bar finished, it's only just this, you know, the detail of putting the foliage in, and the little roses. So, and they're as simple as just, you know, I'm not going to do a lot of detail with these. They're just, you know, basically 6 little roses in here. So to do the roses, you could go back and have a look at the other bud, but I feel like this is giving you like the vase and the flowers into the vase. Like I said to you, one of the most important things is to keep, you don't have to have a visible line, but you have to make sure that your stems are going into and not standing out of. Alrighty. So let me know, give me a little bit of feedback and just see what you think. But I think a peony would be lovely next. I would love that. I'll finish this off and I'll pop it with this, with the last installment, this 3rd installment. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.